Hi guys, this is NUB SAUCE playing Transport Fever, and we're about to start the 7th mission in the European campaign, which also means the end of this series of playthroughs, because we already did the American campaign, and this is the final mission of the European campaign. As always, the goal is to collect all 5 medals or achievements inside the game, so the final mission is called English Channel.
The century is drawing to a close, and the future looks rosy for transport magnates. The Iron Curtain is falling. East and West are coming together cautiously. Europe is coalescing. One woman, known respectfully by both friend and foe as the Iron Lady, has done capitalism a major service. She has shrunk the welfare state, pulverized the unions, and placed public enterprises in the hands of private business. Ideal conditions for new projects. It is the year 1987, and Margaret Thatcher has just been elected Prime Minister of Great Britain for the 3rd time in a row. Finally, a project can now be tackled that has been planned for over 200 years. A land connection to bring travelers from France to England without getting their feet wet. A tunnel under the English Channel. We have been chosen to build this engineering masterpiece. Let's demonstrate our skills.
Well, apart from the humor about how wondrous Margaret Thatcher were, it says it's in 1987, but clearly it's the 29th January of 1970. I guess they took some liberties with the date because the project in this mission takes longer than the actual building of the Euro Channel. When the game first came out, one of the medals in this mission was actually impossible to win. There's one here called Good Timing. Complete the preparation and excavation project phases in a timely manner. It doesn't say what the timely manner is, but it was set to have so few years that it just wasn't possible to do it. The industries couldn't ramp up fast enough to produce all the stuff that's needed to build the tunnel in the time that was available. And it didn't matter how much you would go and micromanage and optimize, it just couldn't be done. So in one of the patches they changed this mission, gave it a few more years, so now it should actually be possible. We have a second medal here called Profitable. Get by without additional grants, which means that in this mission I cannot take the 2 extra loans that will be offered during the game. Shaking hands. Ensure that both tunnel construction sites are completed within an interval of no more than 1 month. That requires a bit of micromanagement to make sure that both the French and the English side are progressing, well, more or less equally, which is quite tough because the production side for the resources is on the French side, so the French side will be easy to build, but the English side will be hard to build. And there's a medal for X-ray vision, explore the seabed, which is relatively easy to do. Re-drilled, improve the tunneling machines, which is also quite easy to do. So we have something about saving up on the money. We have 2 medals that are quite a challenge, and then 2 that are really easy. The layout of the map is we have 3 cities on the English side and 3 cities on the French side. And because we don't have a passenger train network or bus service, there will be tons of traffic between these cities. that means that if we want to have trucks going as well, which we will need, we have to have a separate network for that. If they start sharing the roads, then the industrial network will slow to a crawl. Then we have a layout of the industries. We have lumber and coal on the British side, and we have iron and a steel mill on the French side. And then the primary industry is this machines factory. We also have some red lines out in the sea. You're not allowed to put something in between, apart from putting in ship lines. So to get stuff from one side to the other, you need a bunch of cargo ships. But let's get this thing on the way.
Finally, it can begin. The tunnel was actually supposed to have been built ages ago, but the last time it was attempted, there suddenly wasn't any money for it, stupidly. But everyone's in good spirits this time, especially our investors. But we're waiting on government grants in vain. Mrs. Thatcher will not grant us any. However, unemployment is high and workers are cheap. Let's make sure we can get the goods we need for construction at a low price, too.
We want the Dunkirk steel mill placed here to produce goods, and the Dover sawmill placed here. It basically means we have to set up the industrial network of supplies and demand. So wood is taken to the sawmill, it's converted into planks, it'll be sent over to the machines factory. Coal and iron will be sent to the steel mill, that will convert into steel, which will send to the machine factory. And then from there the machines will go to the 2 construction sites, but that's not what it says yet. We can also send the machines to the cities to be sold if we wanted to, but that's not a good idea to do at the moment. So I'll need to set up a bunch of logistics here to make sure that my trucks won't be stuck in a queue of pendler traffic between the cities. I'll set up separate roads for the trucks. And then I also need to put in some cargo harbors to send all these materials back and forth. I think I'll start on the British side. I'm setting up a harbor with 3 terminals because we have planks and coal going one way and machines going the other way. So there are 3 different types of goods going through the harbor, and I would like to control how many ships are on each of those lines. With the one of the later patches, ships were changed so that they could take different kinds of cargo. So we'll just use this X-Alp, let it choose by itself what to bring, and just shove 10 of those on one line, going back and forth. Well, that way I don't really have any control of what's going, or how much is going. It might be taking coal when I wanted lumber or planks to go across the channel or something like that. So I'll build 3 lines. Okay. So what I've done this for is set up a line that takes logs over to the sawmill. Then another line will take the planks from the sawmill to the harbor. A third line will take coal from the coal mine to the harbor, and a fourth line will take machines coming in from the harbor down to the construction site. That's the English side. Then on the French side, I'll have a shuttle taking coal and planks over to the machines factory. Then another line will take the coal to the steel mill and take steel back. A third line will take iron to the steel mill, and a fourth line will take machines to the French construction site. Then I also need to put in the ship lines, because to get everything working we need to get some goods across the channel. Now that I set 3 different lines for the planks, the coal and the machines respectively, I also need to make sure that the ships take the right cargo, so I need to set all 4 compartments in the ships here. And then to start everything off, I just need a couple of trucks on each line, so the game engine will figure out that something is running. So now every single line has some vehicles on it. I did buy some extra, and 1 extra ship of each kind, just to make it easy to wait. Oh, I did buy an extra of each of the 3 types of freight ships, because I figured that would make it easier. I just realized that there's no duplicate button in the shipyard. You can only duplicate train consists, so I might as well just put these on the line as well. Oops. Ship of course should be on the coal line. This should be on the machines. And now we can get the game started. Might as well set it up to 4 times speed, because it'll be a while before something important happens. I'll set in a passenger ship between Dover and Calais to see how that'll work out. To make use of that, I need some buses.
The geology of the English Channel is mostly known. In the interest of safety, however, we should still examine the nature of the seabed so there are no mishaps. After all, it was the fear of something disastrous happening that prevented our predecessors from undertaking this project time and again. And they didn't just mean the invasion by continental Europeans.
Okay. Buy a specific ship to do geological readings, and make sure to spend 60 days in the highlighted area. which is inside this green circle. And to make it the ship go out there, you have to have a line going through this circle. And that's a good thing I put in this service, because I can put the survey ship on the passenger line and just stop it out here in the middle of nowhere. And with this mesh shift, costs nothing, but it has a running cost of 2 million per year, so this mission should be done, or this submission should be done as quickly as possible. The ships take a long time to break, so I'll just set it to break before it reaches the circle. And at 6 kilometers an hour, I had started ticking the exploration days here. So like that, the first medal has been earned. Explore the seabed, and I'll send this ship back to be sold as quickly as possible, so we don't have to waste money on it. I should start to put extra vehicles on the lines.
The money is slipping through our fingers. We'll soon be bankrupt. But if we're prepared to grovel on our hands and knees, our financiers will grant us a bridge loan.
But I don't want a bridge loan. There's plenty of planks and coal in the harbor, and ships coming in to collect. I should use this line tool to see what the flow or throughput is. That was a nice voice of a coal mine ramping up.
The resources are ready, and so the tunneling machines designed especially for this endeavor can be constructed. They are outright factories that dig completely autonomously and transport away debris and secure the tunnel walls. Long live modern technology. Let's not waste any time and ensure that the squads on either side of the channel meet in the middle quickly. This way we'll avoid any unnecessary costs. And that is absolutely necessary. Our first financial backers are already threatening to jump.
Yeah, so I should basically continue what I'm doing. Sending machines to the drill sites. Since I have 18 years for this phase, so that will lead us to 90, not 90, but 89. So there's plenty of time. And the trigger for this mission was the first load of coal arriving at the steel mill, so it started producing steel. And we have the first steel ready here on the platform. So the next bit is about ramping up production, which means having an efficient logistics network here. That's why I want to look at these lines. As the industries are currently at a limit of 200, I would like them to have a bit more than 200 throughput, so they have an easier time ramping up. So I'll start here with lumber. It's a throughput of 242 with 4 lorries. So double that. Then we have is future proof with around 500 throughput. And again with planks. This is the 182. So that should also be doubled. Then we have the coal. And it should be... I don't know where that's going from. Not quadrupled, not doubled, but 3 times. So now that's up to 495. Let's look at the iron. 132. That takes it up to 400. And I'm out of money. This line, planks coals machines, which shuttles back and forth from the harbor. That should have twice as much capacity because it takes 2 resources. The coal and planks are not delivering with a very high frequency, but this cross-channel shipping is the trade-off between cost and frequency, because I could put loads more ships on the line to get the frequency down, which would help smoothen out each load, because the rest of the supply chain is done with the trucks. But then most of the ships would run nearly empty, which would make the machines very costly here. And it looks like the cross-channel passenger service is running quite smoothly. I think I can afford another planks and coal ship now. Now we have a load of 39 machines going to the English side of the channel. We have had just a few machines coming over here. Okay, so there's been a backlog, or what you would say. Usually the machines factory can't keep up on demand of planks, which was due to the lumber and sawmill here ramping up. But now they actually wrapped up, and it still has more potential than the 400 currently coming out. So again, I have to make sure that the lines are chugging away. So 500 could be increased to 600 at least. And for planks, 400 and 84. $629. The coal line seems to be doing fine. It isn't entirely up to speed yet. will make sure that the demand on the throughput on the UK side is larger. So we'll try to, hopefully it'll try to send more stuff to the English side. Definitely also need some more machine ships at this point. I sold one of them earlier because the budget was running tight, but I could do another one now. Well, the lumberyard was... Oh, the forest lumberyard is upgraded to an 800 limit. The production has gone down a little bit. This is definitely not because of the lack of demand here. So I should start upgrading the road network to deliver the say 900.
The subsurface on the British side seems to have conspired against us, just like the people there. They are grinding down our motivation with their negative attitude almost as badly as the hard rock is grinding down our tunneling machines. There's a solution to the latter problem, however. More machines. A mobile spare parts warehouse, so to speak. That being said, we should make considerably faster progress if we could do without the extra deliveries. An engineer from Hastings thinks he knows how to optimize our machines for the hard rock. We should look for him.
Okay. So apparently it's up to a tunnel, and the demand has risen from 1,000 machines to 1,200 machines on the English side. And that's certainly something we don't want, because this English side, as you can see, is the one that's hard to supply. It only got 100, while the French side got 300. So we definitely need to look into this improvement option. So we'll go to Hastings and look for the engineer.
The mechanical engineer has promised to optimize our machines to cut through the hardest rock like butter. We just need to deliver some of our machines to him so that he can test his adjustments in practice.
Deliver 10 machines to the engineer's laboratory. That's this industry here. And it'll be easier to supply if just make a ring road here. Then you can get a drove just outside of his house. We can put in another line here that will take machines from the harbor. All the way out here, and it's not using the ring road. So I'll just add a waypoint. So this should put some vehicles in it. And it will be a while before that line actually gets supplied. I don't think it'll get any with the next machine ship coming in. I think we'll have to do with the next machines produced in France. We can see what happens when this one gets in. Yeah, the coal and planks ships are queuing up at the moment because I put some extra ones on the line. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted 3 different lines, because then I have 3 different queues and not wasting as much time as I otherwise would. Yes, all 30 machines that were on the ship are now on the line to the construction site, as expected. This queuing system suggests that I already have one too many ships on the coal and planks lines. But I'll live with it for the moment, because it might even out. And if it doesn't, I'll sell one of each. Yes. So we got a new load of machines coming in, and some of them have been directed at Hastings.
The engineer was successful, even more successful than expected. The number of machines required at both tunnel construction sites has been reduced.
Outstanding. Yep. So now both the English and the French side are back in line. I need 900 each instead of 1,000. And the English side has definitely ramped up in how many it gets, but the French side of the channel still has quite the advantage. I'll just delete the Hastings lines again, because we don't have to waste resources on that anymore. And we still have ships in queue. Coal. No, machines. Planks. So I need to sell one plank ship and one coal ship. Because they're just wasting fuel. But we can see here we have 100 planks waiting. Where's the next plank ship? 113 was going out. So it's running quite smoothly now. We can also see that passenger service is quite popular. We actually need more buses. And the other thing about the French side being ahead is I only have one single truck delivering a stream of machines to the French side. And I have maybe 50 trucks and a load of ships supplying the English side, and it's still falling behind. And there's actually not a lot of window between the English and French finishing here. It says that the two sides should finish within 1 month. And considering it can take a couple of months to get something delivered from France to England, then just a couple of months, almost a year, then it's something that needs a very careful eye. So that's a new passenger ship. Well, it would look good. Although it won't be filled. I have ever used the graph assembler before, so it will be nice to replace it here. So the English side has finally overtaken. That's quite surprising. That means I need to reduce the frequency here. So I'll get rid of some of these empty trucks. So there's a lot of machines. The new side is almost ready to finish. So I think I'll put one more truck on the French side. But ideally, when we get it to 850 or something, the smart thing is to only have one vehicle on each line. So I'll have to fine-tune it some more. So now the English side only needs, what, 30 machines? And a truck can take 16, so that's 2 truckloads. So the French side is 1 unit away from a full truckload. So the French side only needs 1 unit. I'll just stop the English truck for a moment, just to be safe.
It's done. The tunnel is complete. Now all we have to do is stop the English from hating the tunnel. The newspapers are full of horror stories about invasions of killer moths and rabid rats and legions of Frenchmen stinking of garlic. Let's see to it that this nonsense is banished to the realm of legends. It appears the people's fears are unfounded. The Queen brought back neither killer moths nor rabid rats on the grand inaugural journey through the tunnel, but merely the French Prime Minister. We have a completely different problem. Construction costs are twice as high as planned. On top of that, there are unexpectedly hefty maintenance costs. It'll be ages before this thing becomes profitable.
Well, so they say. Let's see, monthly maintenance would be 100,000 on top of what else I have. So, the metals. I still have to get by with that alone, but looking at my bankroll of 115 million, I don't think that would be a problem. I guess the preparation excavation project was also completed in a timely manner, but it looks like this metal won't be awarded until the end of the mission, or perhaps after this used tunnel mission. But now at least the mission changes gear. We have to transport 1,000 people through the tunnel and 1,000 goods through the tunnel. And by goods, I guess it's any kind of freight. But it means we have to get rid of a bunch of the old logistics network. So first off, ships. Coal ships. Sell off. Machine ships. Sell off. Plank ships. Sell off. And kill the goods. We need trains to do that. Passenger service. Sell and kill off. Because we want people to go by train now. If we look at the connection point here, we still have 400 machines going to the construction site, so we might as well just leave that route in. Likewise, we still have around 100 machines going to the freight site, so we'll leave that in place. The rest of the truck routes will need to be adjusted for train use. So what do we have for trains at the moment? Well, right now we have a track coming out here and it works. And we have a track coming out here. So we can put in stations, change the bus routes to go to the station, change the trucks routes to go to a cargo station, and so on. So it will make sense to have a freight station here by the machines factory, and then sell or ship the machines to the English side to be distributed to Dover and Hastings. And that will require coal, planks from the English side. The planks can be driven straight into the hub here. The coal as well, and then we can keep the coal steel truck line in place. Yes, just to make it a bit more cool, then we can extend the passenger service to go to Dunkirk and Hastings as well. So we need a bunch of stations and a bunch of tracks. Okay, what I've done so far is build a high-speed track all the way to Hastings and all the way to Dunkirk, putting in some passenger stations. I have set up a cargo terminal here between Dover and Hastings. 3 platforms, one for planks, one for coal, and one for delivering machines. And I put in these 4 truck stops just to be efficient. So 2 of them will take 2 of them will take planks. No, 2 of them will take machines out to either city, and one will receive planks and one will receive coal. And I think I actually need to swap these 2 because they're using the same trucks. Then they will queue on each separate lane if there's any queuing. Now I need to do some changes to the French side. Okay, so here on the French side I put in a freight station with 3 tracks, again, one for planks, one for coal, and one for machines. The transit down to the harbor I don't need anymore, so that'll be sold off and deleted. Still, I can still take these off here and then delete it afterwards. As I said before, the coal and steel truck line will stay in place to do the exchange. So the coal will come in on the train station and will be transferred to truck from here. So now I need the bus lines in Calais to go to the train station instead of the harbor. Like that. The 2 Dover bus routes will also go to the train station. Now because the buses are going on a faster roads, so I might as well replace them with faster versions. I also need to put some trucks on the new machines, distribution lines. Now to set up the train lines. So passenger line. So now the train routes have been set up as well. One for each resource and one for passengers. And now we have to find out what to put on them. The TGV is available, but the tunnel is quite curvy, so it will never get up to speed. We have the Mirage, which could work, but we also have the German Class 103 that can do 200. We have wagons that can do 200, but we have cargo that only does 160. So I think we should do the more sensible thing of doing these 140 trains. At least 3 of those will be a good start. Four of them. 4 cities, 4 trains. Just let the last one go back to Hastings. So that at least gets a chance to spread out. Then we need some good trains. Need 1 for planks. And I put 2 on for frequency. Wait, I'm already out of money. So I guess I'll only do some cheaper goods here. Okay, I need 3 goods trains and each can cost around 30 million, 14 million. That's not a lot. Let's go to the NUB. Okay, so let's see the NUB roll out. So we already have 1,000 passengers. We almost have 1,000 goods. I guess the mission will end in a few moments.
There's a hive of activity under the English Channel. The Iron Lady is mighty proud of us.
Alright, so that's the end of the mission. We have good timing. It set out that we had 18 years to do it. Started in 1970 and ended in 85, so we currently have 3 years left. Profitable, definitely. Still have 35 million in the bank. With a little bit of tweaking of the vehicles, then both ends of the tunnel was done at the same time. We did the seabed as quickly as possible to avoid cost, and we did the improvement to tunneling machines to make it a little bit easier to get equal production on the English and French sides. So that's how you do that. We have 5 medals here, we have 5 medals in every other of the 13 missions in the game campaign. And just before I sign off, I was looking at the achievements inside of Steam. And I was looking at, well, first off, there's an achievement called First Line, which is pretty self-explanatory. And 70.2% of those who bought the game have achieved that goal. And that means that only that 3 out of 10 people who bought the game has never actually played it, which I find a bit sad. But of course, then it's more money for the developers and more incentive for them to further develop the game. There's an achievement called Shark of America and one called Shark of Europe, which you earn for completing the campaigns respectively. The American campaign has a finishing rate of 6.4%. The European has half of that, 3.2%. So I guess that a big American market means that more people are interested in the American campaign. Or perhaps people got stuck in the European campaign. I don't know. It's actually quite a surprise to me because there's so many Russians in the workshop doing mods. There's a huge community there. There's a huge German and Swiss community, which there always seems to be when it's something related to trains. But I guess they are doing their own stuff. Also, it's less than one. It's about 1 in 16 that actually complete the campaign. Well, that's also a bit of well, not a surprise, but a kind of let down for me personally, because I think the campaign missions are a nice puzzle to figure out and how to optimize to get all the goals. But as Transport Fever is mostly a sandbox game, I can see why the campaigns are so attractive to people. The last achievement I was looking at was the achievements for getting all the medals. And for both the American and European campaign, it's around half of a percent. So about 1 in 200 people with the game actually get to this point with the all medals for both campaigns. So this marks the end of my campaign series. It also means I'll be taking a break from making computer game related videos. I'm not sure what will be next, whether it could be StarCraft, XCOM, I don't know. Whatever catches my fancy. But as always, if you have been watching for so long, please subscribe, comment and like the video. Bye bye.